What is up, guys, and welcome back to our St. Louis Blues Fantasy Draft Franchise Mode series. In the last video, we did the NHL draft, and in this video, we are going to be doing free agency, and we have our mind on one guy and one guy only, or at least above the rest, and that guy is Jaromir Jagr. We have $16.5 million to use for this season. And if he's asking for only 1 year, we can give him a shit ton of money. We'll look to give him 7.25. We shouldn't have a problem signing him at that number. We won the Stanley Cup last season, so our champions tag should help him. Or he should at least be fine with signing us. Jesus, he should be fine signing with us due to our franchise tag. Our franchise being champion tag. And I'm gonna go take a look at what else we have and see if there's any holes, but I just wanted to get Jagr out of the way first because we are clearly making a run at Jaromir Jagr for sure. So we do have that champion status. Just want to double check. Okay, so forwards we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Jagr will play in there to that second line. So we'll call this 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that leaves us with like Bo Bennett, Paquette, Ferraro, Foss, Dzingel, Dubois. There's a shit ton of guys that are 80 overall. So we don't necessarily need another forward. However, we could still go out and try to get one and then potentially trade away a couple of guys on this list, just for the hell of it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it, but that's an option that we do have. I forgot to look at defensemen. Alright. So that's our forwards. And then looking at our defensemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're up to we got two 82s, an 83 and an 86, and then an 86 and a 94. So I've said multiple times in the series that Chychrun will probably be our second line defenseman with either Provorov or Murray, but that would require him to grow at least a couple of overall points. Oh shit, excuse me. Oh, whew. I'm yawning during the video. That would require him to at least grow a couple of overall points in between the seasons. As we simulate the next season, and well, you just don't know if that's gonna happen. It might. I'm guessing that it will, but it also might not. And we still have about 10 million to dish out in free agency or through a trade, so we're still going to use that cap space. So we could sign a guy like Alzner or Daly or Seidenberg to a 1-year deal and throw them on the second pairing, and keep Chychrun down there on the third, and probably leave Sanheim. Oh my god. Probably leave Sanheim, Jesus, on the third pairing. I'm recording this video at 9 a.m. and I was up till 4 a.m. yesterday trying to fix my Make the EU Great Again series. I had a video that fucked up and I ended up losing it, so I had to do an update video. And I was up super late doing that. So I apologize for the yawning. Hopefully I can get it to stop. I'm going to drink a little bit of water, see if it'll go away. Alright. That may or may not help. I don't know. Bear with me if I yawn another time throughout this video. So looking at guys that are super defensive minded. Actually, let's go to, let's see, Provorov. So Carlson obviously is super great offensively. I'm trying to think if either Provorov or Murray are, or if we could try to get a power play specialist here. Well, let's find out. Just trying to see what sort of second line defenseman I should be looking to sign. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. So let's see, Murray. Offensively, he's mid 80s. That's not bad. Provorov is really good offensively. 90 offense awareness, 87 passing, 4.5-star shot. So he probably should be looking for a more defensive-minded guy. And Sanheim there, with his mid-80s already, he could grow. And those numbers would obviously grow alongside. So we're looking for a more defensive-minded guy. Probably, at least for this season, somebody we could pair with Provorov. And we can leave Murray with Carlson. A little bit more defensive-minded Murray with the fantastic offensive defenseman Erik Karlsson, and then look to get a more defensive-minded guy to go with Provorov. So let's go to defenseman, and then go over here to defensive awareness. Wherever the hell it is. Let's see, there it is. Defensive awareness is right there. And so we got 3 guys at the top, and those are Kempny, Seidenberg, and Alzner. Kempny is only an 80 overall with an 88 defensive awareness. That's because the rest of his defensive category is still not great, not developed. Seidenberg here, fantastic fantastic defensively, so that's what we're looking for. Same thing with Alzner. It's just a matter of picking between these 2 guys. And 3 guys are going after Seidenberg. That seems odd. Carolina, Chicago, and Pittsburgh, but nobody's going after Alzner. He only wants 2 years, and for 1 year it would probably take about 7 mil. And we just gave out 7 mil to Yager, so we'll give out 6.5. We'll give him what he's asking. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. We'll give him 6.5. That's what he's asking for. And if he signs, great. If he doesn't, we will look for somebody else. Yeah, that's about it. So let's go see if those 2 guys sign. In the last video, I looked for guys with good potential, so prospects that were left on the free agent market, and there wasn't much, and that's just due to it being a fantasy draft. After the draft, teams only have 32 of those 50 roster spots, so they're gonna have room to re-sign anybody. Okay, as both the guys we are looking to sign re-sign with us. I was saying, shit. Jeez. Yeah, prospects. The teams will have the roster spots to sign those guys. So when you're doing your other franchise modes that aren't fantasy draft, the first couple of years you might see a couple of prospects fall to free agency that shouldn't. And that's just because the teams don't have any contract spots left, and the AI is not smart enough to rid themselves of contract spots in order to sign their top-notch prospects, or they're not smart enough to realize what players they should be re-signing. I guess they're signing like worse prospects instead of their better prospects. So, but sometimes I was doing a series, not a series, but I was doing a franchise mode on my own where my team was full of just guys that I've gotten from the draft. So I did a fantasy draft, and I drafted the worst players in the game. And then each entry draft, I used those players for my team and those players only. And a couple years in, I guess it would be like year 5 maybe. Rasmus Dahlin, the medium elite defenseman that's in the year 2 draft, he was in free agency, unrestricted, age 20, high 70 overall. So sometimes you'll see stuff like that. So I would recommend, if you're going through free agency, in your own franchise modes, I would recommend to sort by potential as well as overall. So you can probably see those guys in the free agent pool, and you can pick them up because they are going to do a shit ton for your franchise. So here are our rosters. So Mantha, Strom, and Dubois need to come up, and then Andrighetto, Dzingel, Dano need to go down for sure. And after that, so we still have 3 extra forwards. 3 extra forwards. So we obviously got our first line there. We have Vanek, Yager listed as second liners. We will probably play them Now we need a center. So Ribeiro actually will probably be our second line center, and that should be an insane scoring second line. They might struggle defensively, but that's okay. And then the third line will probably be maybe Strome with Mantha. I don't know. I don't know why I'm describing it now because we're not even there yet. I do not need to do that yet. Chychrun and Sanheim are up to 84s overall. And they're both listed as top 6 defensemen, so they will be fine playing that bottom pairing. And then Beaulieu and McElrath are also top 6 defensemen, so we might look to trade those guys away. Goaltending, Murray Ranta, obviously our top 2 guys, Wedgwood and Fitzpatrick here. If you'll remember, we still have Vaini Vehvilainen, who we just drafted, and he is also a 78. He might have made a jump in the offseason, who knows, but another guy to keep an eye on. So, Dubois, would he go back to juniors? Oh, hell yeah, he's going back to junior. He is going back to junior. So, one thing that I've noticed as well doing these franchise modes is that players seem to get a lot better growth when they're in juniors, especially if they're like low 80s, like Dubois. They're going to get a lot better growth in junior as opposed to like the 4th line of your NHL squad. So I like to just send them back to junior. And also you don't have to worry about them in the AHL. You don't have to get them, worry about getting them ice time or worrying about their lines. You can just send them to the CHL, let them do their thing down there, and they should grow for you. The only problem I see with our lines is how many 3rd scoring line forwards we have. We don't have anybody with a 4th line tag, so we're gonna, whoever we put here on the 4th line, we're gonna need to get extra time somewhere else, and that might be a little bit of a problem. We could throw Strome on the power play and Verbata, so we're probably gonna look to have a baller as 4th line once again this season. I guess I'd be fine with leaving Iginla down here on the 4th line. So if we just go Iginla, Dylan Strome, and Radim Verbata, that would be an insane scoring 4th line. So we hope that is what they do. And then Mantha, Bonino, and Bennett on the 3rd line. Pretty poor defensively, but they're not too nothing stands out for them offensively either. So we'll see how they perform. Might need to make a few changes with that line. And Jágr, obviously an offensive beast. Same with Ribeiro, my goodness. He did not regress a bit for age 37. So we paid him $3 million years in the offseason, and that's looking to be a good investment as of right now. Still in the 90s with his offensive stats, and Vanek still pretty good there. And then Toffoli, Draisaitl, and Forsberg are dominant 1st line. Looking at our defensive core, we have Provorov, Carlson, Murray, Alzner, Chychrun, and Sanheim. Sorry for the weird jump cut there. Actually, I don't know if it's going to be weird or not because I haven't done the editing yet, but I had to answer the phone. So, Provorov here jumped up to an 88, which is fantastic. Listed as a top 4 defenseman, though, so we can afford to put him on the 2nd line and even out our pairings a little bit. It's unfortunate that Ryan Murray is not growing any, but that's going to be okay. No big deal there, so we can put Provorov with Alzner here, the more defensive-minded guy paired with the more offensive-minded guy. And then Chychrun and Sanheim on our bottom pairing. They're both listed as two-way, but Chychrun's more defensive and Sanheim is more offensive, so they seem to be a pretty good pairing. So I'm going to go through now and work on all of our special teams lines, and I will see you guys after that. Alright, boys. I did not change the forward lines any, or the defensive lines. I did that live with you guys, but I did go in here and change the power play unit, so this is what that looks like, and the rest of the special teams units. I don't think there's anything too notable here, so I will keep on moving. And I got through changing the AHL lines about halfway, and then I realized I have to trade away Beaulieu and McElrath still. Not steal. Have to trade Beaulieu and McElrath to make some room there. Currently, we have Jeremy Waugh being a healthy scratch, so we cannot have that. So I'm gonna do that really quickly. So we're looking to trade Beaulieu and McElrath for pretty much anything we can get. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I'll have to see what their trade values are before I make a goal to shoot for. Defenseman. Let's go over here. Sort by overall, sure. And Beaulieu's pretty good, and McElrath is a little bit. So, and the thing with these guys is there's not going to be any room for them on the NHL roster anytime soon. Our oldest defenseman's Carl Alzner at 28. We only signed him to 1 year, but who knows what's going to happen long term. And then Eric Carlson, 27. He's not going anywhere. The rest of the guys are under 23. So there's just not enough room for those guys on the roster. And we have Bean and Waugh down here, and to a lesser extent Fleury, as potential prospects that can eventually make it. So we'll look to trade away these two fellas. And Beaulieu has a little bit on his contract, so it's going to make it a little bit harder to get a trade done. I might have to trade and take a contract back, maybe even 2 contracts. So I might be trading for prospects instead of picks. I do not know yet. Do not know. So maybe the Lightning. I wonder if that'll go through just for picks. Yeah, it would. Can we get a first? No, we cannot get a first, but it's pretty damn close. Pretty close. Do we have anything else they want? Do we have anything else that they want? We could throw them one of these guys. One of these 580 overall AHL guys we have. And the most keen I would be is for Pitlick, I guess. I'm not interested in your proposal as you sent us more than one guy for a single trade block need. We like Beaulieu if you want to take a crack at it. So it seems like we have pretty good value, but they just do not like the fact that it's 2 guys with the same block need. So if you add a third, nope, that's not enough. Can we add another guy? Do we have any unsigned guys that we can throw in this deal? Any unsigned skaters with a little bit of trade value that we could go ahead and trade away? And we got Alan Lethargic here. We're gonna throw him in the deal. Medium bottom 6. Not interested in his, not too interested in his potential, but we did get a first round pick with those scraps, so I am fine with that. Go into edit lines and edit the AHL lines really quick, and I'm gonna try to get some growth, not growth. My God, I'm trying to get some simming done in this video. Not a whole lot, but at least a little bit. So that gets Schmidt and Clayson, but we don't really care about Schmidt and Clayson. We care about Jeremy Waugh. So I'm going to throw him here on the third pairing instead. He's right-handed, put him over there. And what we're going to do is throw Schmidt into our offensive lines as our 4th line right winger. And we're doing that just because there's a couple of guys in the AHL that NHL put on our team and put on our rosters, so we do not need them. And the guy he replaced was one of them. So looking at these guys, I guess we'd want Dano up on our first line, Paquette second, that's fine. Landon Ferraro, Jesper Fast, and Bo Bennett. That's fine, I guess. And then Svechnikov with low elite tag, Andrew Ghetto, and then Pitlick. And that's what those lines look like. Goaltending, Wedgwood, Fitzpatrick still in the CHL, I guess. So that's no big deal. Just making sure no one else here. And there's not. Okay. So those are what our lines look like. Let's get in some simming. As we get on our road to back-to-back Stanley Cups, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions is what we are shooting for. But we picked up another first round pick, so that is also good. I guess we could make some trades this season to improve our roster and improve our team. However, that is not the primary goal. I will only do that if it looks like we are starting to perform poorly. So we're going to go ahead and sim about a month and a half into the season. As I drank the rest of my water there, so this video can't go on too much longer. So yeah, it seems we have a really deep team, just like last season, where we have 4 good forward lines, especially for their, I guess, what line they're on. So our second line probably isn't as good of a second line as you could have. However, they're going to be really good offensively, and that's going to be good enough for me. And then our third and fourth lines, for being third and fourth lines, are pretty damn good. So start the season with a home and home against Colorado, and each team takes the home game. And I missed my scouting assignment last week, so I will get it this week. We will do a month forwards in the OHL. Not too concerned with the scouting for this season. We are still contenders. We're still champion tag, obviously. But we're not playing that way to start the season. That's okay. Back-to-back win there. For some reason, EA has us playing in Florida, and then we're in St. Louis the next night. So whatever the hell that's about, I do not know. I don't know if the scheduling or like the locations that you're playing has much of an effect in a simulation. Maybe there's a little bit of a home ice advantage, but you could play, like at the end of the season, I've had 4 games in 4 nights where it was like away, home, and I don't know if that has any effect, but it'd be cool if EA could get more of a realistic roster, especially at the end of the season, and if EA could somehow factor in like where you're playing the game. So if you have back-to-back road games and you have to travel, you should be a lot more likely to lose that second road game, because you got to think about a team's probably flying out the night of their first game, so they're already going to be tired, and then they're not going to be getting to bed until 3 or 4 in the morning, and then having to play the next night is a pretty insane turnaround. And I bet if you look at historically, teams lose a lot of those games. I know in the NBA they're called like scheduled losses, and I don't know if it's the same in the NHL, but if EA could somehow factor that into the game, that would be pretty damn cool. But I'm not holding my breath when it comes to EA, NHL Sports, and making improvements on their own game. Not holding my breath there. But it'd be a nice surprise, that is for sure. So as we're nearing the end of the month here, we are 12-9, back-to-back wins against Chicago, pretty good. So 12-10 in our first month and a half. That's not good, guys. That is not good whatsoever. So we're gonna need to make some changes for sure going forward with this team if we want to repeat for the Stanley Cup. We're only 3 points back from third place in our division. And yeah, just look at the standings here. Chicago's a little bit above us, but we have 4 games in hand on them. Only 2 6-4 goals for and 3 goals against. So apparently we've been getting lucky with our record. Over 500 with a -8 goal differential. So that's cool. 20% power play, 82% penalty kill. Those are fine. It's probably just our 5-on-5 play that is hurting. We'll find out. It looks like our second line of Ribeiro, with Ribeiro on it, is playing pretty well. He's got 18 points. He's also on the line with Vanek with 14 and Yager with 13. It looks like our first line is not doing too well. Toffoli 14, Draisaitl 12, and Forsberg 10, but they're all negatives. So our second line is a super positive. I might look to mix and match those lines a little bit. Or even switch them completely. Erik Karlsson's a -7 with 16 points. Huh. What is going on, buddy? Please tell me so I can fix it. Murray with a 3.32 GAA and an 88.8 save percentage. My goodness, what is going on with Murray? Maybe he's the problem. He's down to an 86. Probably lost morale because of recent performance. Yeah, he did that a couple times so far. Ranta with a 1.82 and 9.38 saves. Maybe Ranta should be our starting goaltender. Who knows? Who knows? Alright, let's just get back into our lines. And I might switch a guy or two up. Might put Yager on the first and maybe Toffoli on the second. Who knows? Let's see. So Forsberg, Draisaitl, and Toffoli, and then Vanek, Ribeiro, Yager. Yeah, we'll just switch Yager and Toffoli and see what the hell happens. So it says we have two snipers, which Yager is more of a sniper. Draisaitl is more of a playmaker kind of guy, and then Forsberg should be doing a little bit of both. As I stumble over my words once again, so hopefully those top two lines will be improved from that slight change. 95 offense, 93 defense, 87 goaltending. So we're gonna go here to the end of this month, and then I'll call it a video. And in between videos, I'll probably check out the trade market, see what's out there, see who we can pick up, probably on the cheap. We lose 11-5. What the hell? And then a 7-6 shootout loss against the Pittsburgh Penguins. What was I saying? What was I saying? It will come back probably. Oh yeah, the trade market. We'll see who's available. Probably looking for cheaper guys. Probably looking for older guys. Yeah. So that's about it. We don't want to be trading for younger prospects because they will be taking up too much trade value. Unless, of course, we can find somebody for cheap that we could that could fill the same role. So yeah, it's going to depend on how we perform this month and who stepped up and who's playing better as to what we look for. But we are coming on strong here of late. We've won 5 of our last 6 and 7 of our last 9. Okay, we won another one against the Preds. Look to close out the month strong. Colorado's shootout loss at Winnipeg. A 2-0 shutout victory. Okay, so that right there, playing against Colorado at home one night and then going to Winnipeg the next night, that is a pretty tough thing. So you'd expect us to lose that second game, but we got a shutout. Don't know what that's about. Is Winnipeg just awful or something? 18, 17, and 2, not bad. So we are now 21, 13, and 2. So a pretty good performance that month, up to second in our division behind Colorado, and we look to be we're about 6 points clear of the playoff wildcard spots, and our defense is up to an 94. And Erik Karlsson really turned it on that month, up to 34 points in 36 games with a +5. Ribeiro also with 34. Forsberg, Vanek, Provorov, Toffoli, Yager. Draisaitl still only has 22 points. Then Verbata, Strome, Bonino, Mantha. Okay, you guys can see the rest of them. Let's see if Matt Murray turned it on that month. 302 GAA and a 897 save, so he performed a little bit better. I wouldn't say he quite turned it on, but he is better in that month than he was in the previous 2 months, and we definitely needed him to be. An 888 is not going to get it done, especially for a guy that's 86 overall with low elite tag. Alright, so our goals for up to 3.19 points a game, or goals per game. That is pretty damn good. Obviously, a huge improvement. Goals against 287, so that went down a little bit. Still not an ideal number, but it should be moving in the right direction. 23.3% power play, pretty damn good. 80% penalty kill, not the best, but it's not something that is killing us. I hope you got the pun there. Penalty kill's not killing us. So let's look at our progress report since our defensive rating went up a little bit. Didn't know what to say there. Here we go. So Anthony Mantha's growing a little bit. Vanek is regressing a little bit. So this is probably going to be his last season here. We do not want him to be regressing a lot more than that. Hope he's on the last year of his contract. Cannot see from the screen, but Yager's also regressing. So no one really jumping out in terms of overall jumps. At least from natural growth. Aginla, Verbata, and Ribeiro are also regressing. However, those players are not regressing too much, and they're not hurting us quite yet. So we might look to get rid of those guys in the offseason if they do not retire, or at least do not re-sign them. But Eric Carlson with a 2 morale overall point growth. Holy shit, look at that, all that morale growth. My goodness. Alright. And then in the system, how are these players getting along? Fleury is up about 5 points, and Dubois started at an 80 this offseason, up to an 83 already. So the CHL growth right there, doing wonders, and it's doing the same thing for Fitzpatrick. He was a 77, and now he's an 80, so he might be ready to be our backup next season. But look at Vavalainen, he's also an 80 overall. So it looks like we have a gem there in Vavalainen. I might look to grow him up to like an 83 or something, and then potentially trade him away. But Svechnikov up 1 overall point. Wah up a couple, and Bean up 1 as well. So seeing some good growth there from our AHL players and our CHL players. That's what we want to see from them. They're going to be young guys. They're going to fill out our roster in the next couple of seasons. So that's going to be it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. In the next video, we look to potentially make a couple of deadline trades. It just depends on what is out there and who some teams are trying to trade away, and if we can get those guys on the cheap. So I will look into that. And alright, I'll see you guys next time.